Hello, welcome to What's Living in My Yard, where we explore and learn about all the creatures and life forms sharing the space that we call home. Today we're going to talk about spiders, particularly about killing spiders. Now again, I want to emphasize, spiders are good for you. They're good for your environment. They eat a lot of bugs, they eat a lot of undesirable pests like flies and mosquitoes and other things that are annoying. However, if you get too many, and if they start coming into your house, and if they are poisonous, that's when you need to start doing something about them. Now there are 4 ways that I have used to control spiders. One of them, the main and probably most common way, is to just simply squish them. The second way is to burn them.
Go. It's a cruel, cruel world.
The third way is catch and release.
Come here, little fella. Be free.
And the fourth way is to spray them with something. When it comes to pest control, there is no reason anybody should pay someone else to spray your house. The reason for that is, one, chemicals, they're not that expensive. They're pretty cheap. And they're not dangerous if you use them properly, if you read the label and follow the label. It doesn't cost that much to just get the equipment that you need. All you really need is a spray tank like this with the pump. I've got this at Kmart for about $15. Cheap, easy. And I think the monthly contract price for spray service is something like $30 or more per month. So there's just no reason for you to pay someone else to do your pest control for you. Now, with that, there are some precautions that you need to take. You need to make sure you have good equipment, something that doesn't leak, it's not going to spray all over the place. You need some basic safety equipment like long sleeve shirts, pants, shoes, eye goggles or just eyeglasses, and a pair of gloves. All of these are not hard to have, not hard to find around your house, I'm sure. And then you need to figure out what it is you want to buy, what product you want to spray. Now again, spraying is kind of the last resort. There are a lot of other ways to control spiders and bugs in general. Squishing, keeping your place clean, things like that. But sometimes it does get to the point where you just need to spray something to get rid of them fast. And that's completely understandable and acceptable. Nothing to be ashamed about with that. But I would recommend keeping all of your chemicals in a safety bin. Something without holes in the bottom, because if something does spring a leak, you don't want to have this dripping all over your garage or wherever you're storing it. That could be really dangerous and hard to clean up properly. You want to have it in a nice tub that is closable, that you can put high enough to where little kids or animals aren't going to get into it, and so it's safe and away from things. This is what I've got. So I've got a bunch of things that I use from time to time. Now, I'll go into some of these later. Some of these are for different kinds of pests that I use actually on fruit trees and other things. I'm not going to go into those right now. And again, chemicals I think have a bad rap in the public's mind. You hear the word chemical and you think toxic waste or something, but chemicals are used everywhere in our life. We consume chemicals on a regular basis through just the food that we eat. If you've ever eaten a Twinkie, there's chemicals in there. So it's not a bad thing to have chemicals depending on how you look at Twinkies. My point is, chemicals are useful tools developed by scientists to help us do a job. And this job is controlling spiders and other insects. Now the product I have here is called Termidor SC. This is a product that I bought on doyourownpestcontrol.com. Very useful website with all kinds of options. Now, I think what you use in terms of what chemical product you use is not as important as how you use it. It's really, really important to read the directions, otherwise known as the label. That is a legal binding contract, and I'll say this again. It's really, really important to do that because this is a poison after all. And if you don't use it properly, you run the risk of hurting yourself, your animals, your neighbors, your own kids. The list goes on. So be very careful. Typically, the poisons or the chemicals that we spray to control pests around our house are contact poisons, but that also leave a residual film behind. So the way to look at residual is, let's say your kid spills milk on the tile floor. If you don't wipe it up and mop it up properly, after it dries, it's going to be sticky. That's a residue. That's a residual left behind. And these chemicals work the same way in a lot of cases where you spray a strip around your house, like under the eaves and under, at the base of your house. It's going to leave, after it dries, it's going to leave a residue, which when spiders and other insects cross it, it'll get up into its system and cause it to die. Let's go ahead and mix this stuff up. Now, it's important to understand and to remember that you have got to read the label. This is a binding document. In fact, if you misuse this product, you are breaking the law. So when you buy this stuff, you agree to all the rules and regulations that are written in the label. So it's really, really important that you understand how much you're allowed to spray, how to use it, what to use it on, etc. Because if you don't, you're using it illegally. You don't want to do that. Now, it's not to say that people are going to come chase you down, but you run the risk of polluting your home or hurting somebody or your dog or whatever if you use stuff improperly. So know how to use it. Read the label. It's really important and it's very simple. So after I've read the label, I usually make a little cheat sheet, just a note on the jug itself to show how much I need to mix with how much water. So in this case, it's 0.8 fluid ounces per gallon of water. So very, very little amounts. And you can see that it shows the measuring right on the jug itself. So very simple. So shake it up and go ahead and get it up to the line. See, it's right up to the line. Pour it in. Now, you know what? I'm being a bad example. I really should wear gloves. Do you know what PPE is? Personal protective equipment. Depending on the product, you should be using, you should have clothes on, have shoes on, and probably should wear a pair of gloves just to keep the stuff off your skin. It does kill stuff after all, so it would make sense that you'd want to protect yourself from it. So once you're all PPE'd up, go ahead and pour that right into your tank. Okay, that's that. And then go ahead and just fill it up with water. Nothing dangerous so far, right? Okay, I'm at a gallon, so now I'll put on my pressurizer. Crank that down, and then you just pump it up. So shake it up. You want it mixed up really well so that as you're applying the product, it's not, you're not getting over concentration in one section of the spray and the rest of it is just water. And then you just start spraying. You can see it leaving a trail down there. And it's important also, make sure that this is adjusted properly, depending on how you want to use it. If you want a mist, then fine. But in this case, I think a stream is better because that way you can point it and shoot it right where you want it to go. And it's not going to mist all over the place. Plus, the finer the mist, the more it travels and the more likelihood you have of coming in contact with it. In other words, you could breathe that in, it could get on your eyes, or go to surfaces that you don't intend it to go to. So make sure you've got this adjusted properly. Okay, so once you've sprayed it empty, you want to go ahead and rinse it 3 times. And the reason for that is so that there is no residue on the equipment. There may be still some, so you don't want to use it for food grade operations afterwards, but you do want all remaining residue that you can wash off to be off of there. So what that means is go ahead and get some water in there, put the cap back on, shake it up, pressurize it, and spray clean water through the wand. You want to do that about 3 times so that you're sure it's clean. And you want to be sure to drain this water off because it still has some chemical in it. You want to drain that off on a spot where either it's not going to be harmful or where your kids aren't going to be playing right away. It does need to dry, and you can wash that area off too. Flush all the water through it.
Once it's rinsed out, go ahead and set it up so it can dry. Put away all your equipment, all of your chemicals. Make sure it's stored safely and securely. Put it up as high as you need to on a shelf or behind a secure door. And then be sure to wash your hands. It's really important also to remember not to touch your eyes or your nose or whatever until after you have washed your hands, because that stuff is dangerous if mistreated.
Okay, so now that you've sprayed your home, you've let it dry, you've put everything away properly, rinsed it out, washed your hands, you can go about the rest of your day. And you know how to control bugs around your house. It's not hard, is it? It's pretty easy. And it's a lot cheaper than paying somebody month in, month out to do it for you.
Thanks for being here, guys. I appreciate it. If you like what you see, please subscribe. See you next time.